like, share, subscribe. Shouts out to the Lions Den community. And don't y'all forget to subscribe to the podcast show. Link will be pinned in the top of the chat.
Just name the channel who could bang with us. I'll prove that you are smoking dust. TGV Media is top notch in this game, y'all. You failures only have yourself to blame, y'all. Ticket TV and a weapons make you suckers cry. Why don't you close your channel, crawl into a hole and die? Shout out to those who love our movement, no, we'll never flop until you get your mouth on LDBC. We are the underground outfit, y'all. We built this whole thing by ourselves, no in y'all. Independence start with self-preservation. If you can't take care of self, then how can you build a nation, y'all? Yup, we got that merch for the ladies and yes, we even got that merch for the babies and we got appliances and everything that you will need. We got some banging songs that make anemic haters bleed.
Y'all crazy as hell, man. Hey, man, salute to everybody. Y'all press one if y'all can hear me, man. Salute to everybody, man. People hit me up all, bro, 12 Cash App donations. I just counted exactly. 12 Cash App donations. I ain't even come on. Can y'all hear me now? Press one if y'all can hear me, man. 12 Cash App. Everybody asked me, Ticket, where you at? I told y'all I was coming back later on the day. Didn't I tell y'all that? I be having things to do sometimes, man. I be trying to get y'all all the content I can get y'all. And I'm going to go back and shout out everybody who sent donations to the Cash App and to the PayPal. Salute to all the people who be supporting the channel. Hold it down. They all trying to go against your boy, but I'm coming with the correct information. How you going to get mad at me when I'm coming with the correct information? People get mad at me like, oh, Ticket, like I'm the one that's causing Diddy to commit the crimes. They get mad at me. It ain't my fault. I was right. That's y'all fault for not being smart. Point blank period. I'm just telling you what it is. I told y'all, this dude right here, and there is what it is. I told you guys, right? It is what it is, man. Y'all sitting over here doing all this talking and stuff like that, man. Listen, man. The man is facing a minimum of 15 years on just to life on just the sex trafficking charges. I told y'all that, man. Everybody talking about, hey, man, they dropped the charge. They didn't drop no charges, bro. They literally did not drop any charges. I told you guys. They streamlined the charges on the RICO. I told y'all that. And now Diddy got the special sentencing hit with him. Man, this fool might end up getting 60 years, bro. If they find him guilty, bro, listen. They've made it so they find Diddy guilty on one of the sex trafficking. Bro, they're going to hit him with 25 just for that. Then the individual prostitution solicitations, he's facing up to 10 years on each one of those charges. He got 2 of those. So the judge can hit him with like 8 and 8 for both of those. And that's 16 more years if you want to stack it on. Then the RICO goes up to life. Meaning that, bro, he ain't never going to get out. Man, listen, bro. I try to tell these dudes, man, they ain't want to listen to me. I kept it 1,000 wow on my channel. You understand what I'm saying? And shout out to everybody support what I do the whole time. You know what I'm saying? People been standing on business. Y'all already know what it is. And I already see more people hitting the Cash App right now. I'm finna shout all y'all out. But I got to catch y'all up. So if y'all hitting the Cash App and PayPal link at the top of the chat, hit me up. And I'm finna let y'all know. I told y'all, man, when you stand with me, you don't have to worry about no broke bum, ran down ass Negro like Bookman, man. You ain't gotta worry about that, man. Y'all rolling with the ticket, man. The hell you think this is, man? Ain't no scrubs around here, man. Point blank, period, bro. That dude is a scrub, man, that don't know nothing. He don't bring y'all no paperwork, no analysis, no nothing. Just sitting up there talking, burping, and farting on the living room sofa, man. Get him the fuck up out of here, man. Now let's keep going. So today, they don't absolutely destroy Diddy in court. And let me tell y'all something, man. I'm going to tell y'all why Diddy's going to prison, bro. His team don't even get the last word, bro. Let me repeat myself again. Diddy's team don't even get the last word. Think about what I just said. Everybody think Diddy team get the last word. They don't get the last word. Ladies and gentlemen, the feds get the last word. What do I mean? The feds talk, do their closing argument, which they're doing today, which we're going to go over right now. Then the defense tomorrow does their closing argument, and then the feds go after the defense again and rebuttal the defense, and then they go to the jury. And these people gonna get mad at me because I knew the rules, and they don't know the rules. They just on YouTube just talking, man. Then they gonna get mad when they find Diddy guilty. Do all these years they gonna come call me a hater. It's gonna change. The goalposts gonna change from Diddy gonna get off to now. Oh, you a hater? No, I'm not. I told the truth. The niggas got mad at me. I told any one of them niggas, put y'all money up, nigga. Put your money up, nigga. Put your chain up, my nigga. Since y'all niggas so sure, I'm right there with the brother Hood Educator on this. Anybody want to doubt it? Put your bread up, bro. Put your cheese on this shit, nigga. They don't want to do it. They got all Diddy's family members sitting down there around court today. And you know what I would say if I was the prosecution? This is exactly what I would say. I would absolutely, man, I would Easter napalm bomb his ass in front of the family. I would say this man got all his family sitting here today, and ain't none of them willing to get up on that stand and testify for him. I would have destroyed his ass in the courtroom. I would have said, he wants y'all to believe that he's a stand-up guy. He's such a great person. But all these people that's down here right now, ain't none of them willing to get up on that stand and testify on his behalf. Not one of them. And you got to ask yourself why. Diddy's lawyers will have no answers to that question. You got to ask yourself why. Won't none of them have enough heart to get up there? Shout out to Quincy Hargrove with the donation. Salute to you. I see you, brother. And everybody else that's showing love, I see y'all. Melly Mel, I see you in the Cash App. Natalie Munson, I see you in the Cash App. Stephanie Kibbe, I see you with the donation. Melly Mel says, Ticket TV, salute. Natalie says, making my day in the Cash App with the roasting live. Salute. Stephanie Kibbe says, he guilty. Salute. Tanya Harding says, for being 10 toes down with the truth, 100. Salute, sister. Francesca M says, thank you so much in the Cash App for reporting the true news. Salute to you, my sister. Linda Robinson in the Cash App donation says, keep up the reporting up. No doubt, my sister. Samantha McCutcheon says, in the Cash App, she comes through with a $25. She says, thanks for always bringing the truth. I ain't finna come in here and lie, man. I'm sorry, bro. I got too much honor for that type of shit, bro. And I'm not finna come up here and stand up for a scumbag like Sean Diddy Combs. Not gonna happen. So the judge came, and once again, the judge made it clear today. The judge said exactly what I told y'all. So if y'all didn't know, and I'm gonna say it again, right? Right? Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all this again, right? Now let me say this to y'all one last time, and I'm gonna make sure everybody hears what I'm saying, right? Okay? So the judge says tomorrow at 9 a.m., Diddy's defense is going to present their closing argument. After that, the government is going to have the last word. They're going to have a last rebuttal. After that, the jury instructions come, and deliberations are going to begin on a schedule that the jury will decide, right? So I expect we'll have a verdict by next Friday at the latest. Maybe Saturday. You know what I'm saying? But it'll come Monday, I believe. But let's get to this, right? Now, the judge says, please give your attention to the parties as they deliver their closing arguments. The government says, and they annihilated Diddy, man. And y'all smash the like button. Salute to everybody tapping on in. I see all y'all, man, in the cash app. I see y'all in the PayPal. Salute, brother. I see you, dog. My boy Xavier in the cash. I see you, dog. You understand what I'm saying? Wendy in the PayPal. Salute to you. I appreciate it. Look, check it out, y'all. So the judge, the government says, over the past few weeks, you've seen the real Sean Combs, the leader of a criminal organization. He doesn't take no for an answer. And let me tell everybody this too. Here's the crazy part. All those people that did, everybody keeps arguing about how can they do this to Diddy and everybody else get off? Because everybody else took plea deals. Everybody else took the immunity. Diddy was offered a plea deal and rejected it. That's his fault. Shout out to my baby girl Sports T in the building. Salute to you. I see you in the building, girl. Keep doing your thing. Maria T, Vacaville, California. Salute to you. I appreciate you the donation. She said you're doing a great job. Salute to you, baby. Appreciate that. Didn't I tell y'all this? They don't want to listen to me. And I'm hearing people on TV talk about, I've never seen a one-man RICO. Clown, it's not a one-man RICO. They're going to come charge all those people after Diddy, and they're telling y'all everybody else pretty much that they're coming after that didn't take deals today in court or they didn't give deals to. Bro, here's the sad part, bro. And I'm going to got a video come about this later on. Bro, I think they're going to go get Roger Bonds, man. And Roger Bonds got priors, man. And I like Bonds, man. They keep saying that Roger Bonds was a part of this conspiracy. Bro, I got a bad feeling they're going to go pick up Roger Bonds after this case is over with, man, with Diddy. But let's keep going, bro. Because he wasn't offered a deal. He didn't testify. But he wasn't offered a deal. They didn't even call him. KK, D-Rock, they're finna go pick up all these people they talking about. So let me tell y'all this, right? So the government says that over the last few weeks, you've seen the real Sean Combs, the leader of a criminal organization. He does not take no for an answer, they say. He's committed kidnapping, arson, forced labor, bribery, and the brutal crimes of sex trafficking. Consider two key moments. In March 2016, at the Intercontinental Hotel, he violently dragged Cassie back to what he called a freak off. Right? Now let's keep going, y'all. In 2024, at Jane's home, he choked and hit her. She tried to flee. She couldn't escape. These weren't isolated incidents. They're chapters in the same story. A story built on silence, shame, and fear. He believed his fame, wealth, and power made him untouchable. For 7 weeks, you heard how his staff enabled his control. We'll now turn to the RICO charges, including sex trafficking and interstate transportation for prostitution, crimes that are each charged separately too. You may think of racketeers. Groups committing crimes are far more dangerous. This was Combs' kingdom. Everyone in it had one job: to serve him and satisfy his every desire, including sexual ones. The law requires us to prove just 2 racketeering acts. We've shown you far more than that. He ran the Combs enterprise, his inner circle, chief of staff, bodyguards, all of them changed faces, but their roles stayed the same. You heard about Christina Coram, his right brain, living at 2-Star. She communicated with his girlfriends and coordinated everything. His security team, D-Rock, Roger Bonds, Ruben, Uncle Paulie, Fahim, were all named, all very loyal to him. You heard about the dinner incident with Suge Knight. David James told you Diddy had guns. Law enforcement found weapons during their search and defaced rifle in LA and 2 AR-15s with serial numbers removed, hidden in the closet. Then there were rotating assistants, all paid by his business. Brendan Paul made $100,000 a year. Christina Coram, 6 times that. When your boss asks you to buy drugs, or when you help kidnap and confine his girlfriend, after he stomped someone's face, that's criminal conduct. The law doesn't care if they like what they were doing. Christina Coram warned him to be less reckless, yet she still brought him cash and drugs. She was a part of the enterprise. It affected interstate commerce, and that's all the law requires. Minimal is fine. Sean Combs didn't just benefit from the enterprise. He ran it. He was the boss, the common thread, the racketeering acts, drug distribution, kidnapping, arson, bribery, facilitating sex trafficking of Cassie and Jane, forced labor, travel for commercial sex, cover-ups to convict. You only need to find that someone committed 2 acts in any of those categories, any of those categories. You only need to find 2 acts in any of those categories. That's it. That's what they're saying right here. Let's keep going. 2 drug deals, 1 kidnapping. That's all. But in this case, you've seen far more than just 2. Let's start with the drugs. The fuel of every freak-off. D-Rock, Christina Coram, Fahim were the most involved, but many helped keep the drugs flowing. This wasn't about marijuana. Brendan Paul himself called them hard drugs. You have seen the stipulations about what was found on the searches: cocaine, meth, ox, ketamine, and dissociative GHB, mushrooms, Molly, Tushi, a pink dyed mix. It's all in the exhibits 1305 and 1306. The quantity doesn't matter. That's not a legal element here. And distribution doesn't require a sale, just the act of sharing and moving drugs. You know the dealers: Guido, One Stop, Baby Girl. Jane testified she was told to bring the drugs with her when she flew to meet Diddy twice. Christina Coram helped coordinate it. The text messages confirm it. Christina Coram instructed Jane Doe to swing by Mapleton and pick up the Guido package. You heard that phrase used during hotel nights, and now you know what it meant. More X. Even security knew it. Guido texts Fahim saying Puff has a $450 balance with me. Brendan Paul requested $780 for personal Gucci items. That was the code for hard drugs. Distribution happened. It doesn't matter that it wasn't kilos or sold on the corners. Personal use is a distraction. These drugs were brought and passed around. Cassie used drugs at every freak-off. Drugs supplied by Diddy. He introduced Jane Doe to drugs and gave them to her on nearly every hotel night. He gave drugs to Kerry Morgan, Bonner Golan, even made Brendan Paul try Tusi to test its quality. D-Rock would text One Stop saying, need someone for bro, meaning Combs. Guido asked Fahim to cover Diddy's drug debt. Christina Coram knew he was distributing drugs to women for what they call Wild King nights. Jane told Christina Coram she was having a bad come down. Christina Coram gave her pro tips to manage it. That's drug distribution, plain and simple. Plain and simple. Point blank, period. Don't ever put my name with that buffoon, Rio Walks. Don't ever put my name with that buffoon. The first man you name and the last dude you name, don't ever put my name with them, bro. The only person you can put my name with, you can put me beside Kwame Brown. Them other dudes don't put my name with them clowns, nigga. Straight like that. And I'm just going to let you know what it is, Playboy. Don't put my name with Bookman, nigga. Ever put my name with Bookman. Jane told Christina Coram she was having a bad come down. Christina Coram gave her pro tips to manage it. That's distribution. Plain and simple. Now let's talk the kidnappings committed under both California and New York law. Take Cassie. Bonds, Roger Bonds, made sure She didn't leave. That's why I'm afraid they're gonna arrest Roger Bonds, man. They're gonna arrest Roger Bonds, bro. And I like Bonds. They're gonna arrest Bonds, bro. After this case is over with, bro, Diddy's found, they're gonna arrest Bonds, bro. And Bonds already got priors. He gonna do life. Man, this shit gonna, man, they're gonna arrest Bonds, bro. They naming him right here in the play. It says that Roger Bonds made sure Cassie didn't leave. Diddy called Cassie a slut and stomped on her face. She was disfigured. Roger Bonds caught her and dragged her back. Combs forced her to the London hotel on Sunset so nobody would see her. She wanted her mom. He said no. Cassie never consented to being held at that hotel. David James told you Diddy demanded to see his phone, wanted to know if he posted about the club assault. And then there's Capricorn Clark. Capricorn was held for days in an empty Manhattan office and forced to take a lie detector test over missing jewelry. Uncle Paulie brought her to what became a bad boys headquarters. She was tested for 5 lies. The examiner told her if she failed, she'd end up in the East River. Also in Central Park, Diddy told her if anything happened, he'd have to kill her. David James remembered he was tested too to root out that rat. In December of 2011, Rubin helped the defendant kidnap Capricorn Clark. It started on December the 22nd. Diddy pounded on her door with a gun. He was out for revenge. Get dressed, he said. We're going to kill Kid Cudi, he barked. He drove her to Kid Cudi's house with a gun in his lap. That's kidnapping. He transported her a significant distance. He told her she wouldn't be free until she brought him Cassie, who he kicked in a fetal position when she arrived. Cassie testified to this. That same morning, the officer responded to the 911 call, saw a black Escalade registered to Bad Boy. Weeks later, on January the 12th, 2012, Kid Cudi's car was set on fire and arson. Someone cut a hole in the rooftop and dropped a Molotov cocktail. No, we're not saying Diddy cut the hole. He didn't even buy his own soup. You heard the voice notes. Combs did say he'd blow up Kid Cudi's car. What are the odds he says it and then it happens? The coincidences pile up. He and Rubin were nearby weeks before. Kid Cudi drove that same Porsche the night of the trespass. What are the odds? Kid Cudi had no enemies except for Diddy. D-Rock later brought Kid Cudi to him. Diddy looked like a Marvel villain, and years later, he apologized. Now let's talk about the bribery, starting with the 2016 hotel video. Diddy was having a freak off with Cassie, and an escort named Jules Flores walked in and found Diddy in a chair, staring with what he called a devilish look. Another man was in the room. Diddy tried to hand Flores a stack of money. That was his first attempt to bribe someone that day. Once Cassie left, he began immediate damage control. Diddy called Cassie over a dozen times. Text saying, call me, the cops are here. He wasn't concerned about her. He was manipulating her. He knew there was video of the assault. He went banging on her door with a hammer. Neighbors were ready to call the police. Some did. Kerry Morgan had the LAPD officer's card. Christina Coram coached the cover-up. You say you had fun in a drunk night. She called Eddie Garcia. He said no. So Christina Coram went in person. Eddie Garcia refused to show her the video, but said off the record that it is bad. Christina Coram had Diddy call Eddie directly using her personal call, her cell phone. When Eddie said his boss would hand over the USB for $50,000, Diddy called him Eddie, my angel. That's how he saved him in his phone. Eddie delivered the USB. D-Rock and Christina Coram were there. Diddy counted on the bribe dollar by dollar. He counted out the bribe dollar by dollar. Eddie said the security guard told him he came up with Diddy and D-Rock. Eddie asked, what if Cassie calls the police? Diddy knew the risk. Eddie found an ID of a stand in for Flores. NDAs were signed. No one to speak a word. As Eddie Garcia left, Diddy told him, don't make any big purchases. That one line tells you everything you need to know about the purpose of that bribe. It wasn't just about saving face. It was about silencing evidence. That's how the enterprise worked. Shield the defendant, Sean Diddy Combs. Protect the image at no matter the cost. You can find that Diddy, criminal enterprise, helped him commit sex trafficking of Cassie Ventura and Jane Doe. Both women were forced through threats, lies, drugs, and violence into having sex with male escorts. This is not about criminalizing dysfunctional relationships. This is about criminal behavior. And no, the law doesn't require Cassie or Jane to have screamed no or to have physically run. Coercion doesn't always look like chains and cages. Sometimes it looks like control. Sometimes it looks like manipulation. Sometimes it looks like fear. 27 men. That's how many the defendant hired to have sex with these women. This is what power used for abuse looks like. Jane Doe's trafficking charge isn't based on a single moment. It's the result of years of a long pattern, fraud, coercion, and eventually force. That's what Diddy used. You have 3 clear-cut hotel nights: September 2023, October 2023, June 2024. But there were many more nights that Jane Doe agreed to, not because she wanted to, but because she felt she had no choice. When their relationship began in 2021, it looked like love, but it was something else. Classic love bombing. He groomed her with gifts, affection, attention, and then control. And after that came the freak-offs. Jane told you herself, her first hotel night felt like opening Pandora's box. What began as excitement turned into a pattern of pressure, manipulation, and fear. And it goes on. It goes on and on and on in. It's sweeter than Ben and Jerry's. It's sweeter than Ben and Jerry's, y'all. Smash the like button as y'all come on here. We're going to keep going. Yeah, y'all smash the like button as y'all come on in. We're going to keep going. Smash that like button, y'all. Everybody that's coming in here, y'all smash the like button as y'all come on in here, man. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel, right? So it's turned into fear. Jane Doe told you her first hotel night felt like opening Pandora's box. And once it happened, she could not close it. She tried to resist, but the coercion didn't stop. We showed you the grid of 27 men, 9 rows of 3. These are the men that Diddy hired for the freak-offs and hotel nights. These are men who had sex with Cassie Ventura and Jane Doe while Diddy watched, filmed, and directed. He lured Jane Doe in with promises of trips, promises of shopping, promises of glamour. But those were just lies. Lies he told to keep her participating. In April of 2023, he began paying her rent. That's a gift. It quickly turned into a weapon. When he controlled the rent, her rent, the coercion picked up steam. Every time she resisted, he threatened to cut her off financially and emotionally. She didn't feel free. She felt obligated. She did the hotel nights because she feared the consequences if she didn't. In August of 2023, Jane Doe resisted a hotel night. This is the one involving 3 entertainers, sex workers, basically. And what did he do? He sent her a voice message. You heard it yourself. Ain't nobody threatening you. You better get on your job. You got me on my job. He may say it's not a threat, but the message couldn't have been clearer. Jane knew exactly what it meant. Consent or lose your housing. Threatening to take away her home. That's coercion, and it worked. What Jane went through didn't happen in a vacuum. Her experience echoed Cassie's lawsuit. Jane knew it. She had already been saying the same things for months. She texted Diddy after the lawsuit dropped. I feel like I'm reading my own sexual trauma. This was sexual exploitation. You framed as love for your sick fetishes. And when Jane Doe finally confronted him, when she tried to speak her truth, he gaslit her. And when that didn't work, he cut her off completely. You heard the clip. He talked over her. Dr. Hughes explained how trauma bonding keeps victims tied to their abusers. Jane often felt like the defendant, Sean Diddy Combs, never truly listened. She said he dismissed her pain with just move on. When she confronted him and he told her to charge him, said lawyers would get involved and hinted at paying her off to keep quiet. So she asked for $100,000 a year just to walk away, a fraction of what Cassie sought. She thought it was reasonable. Diddy lost control. Jane Doe refused to lie for him. The jury can read the messages for yourself. She wrote that he threatened to show her sex tapes to her baby daddy. Then, despite everything, he told her to come to Miami. She made it clear she didn't want another hotel night. He agreed, but he lied. He called an escort anyways. She was still under pressure. She wrote, "I hate worrying about the rent," end quote. That was in 2024. And it all came to a head in June. He assaulted her and forced her to perform oral sex on an escort. That is sex trafficking. It was interstate. Even the Astroglide crossed states. The law is clear. It only takes one time. Force, threats, fraud, coercion. He knew what he was doing or didn't care to know. And saying yes once doesn't mean yes forever. In 2023, he promised Jane a real New York weekend, no games, but he brought in escorts again. She messaged him, "It's dark and sleazy. I'm scared of losing my home." His reply, "Girl, stop." Then he FaceTimed her, pretending it would be a nice dinner. Another lie. Behind the scenes, he was texting Paul Author, an escort. He was setting up another hotel night. Before Jane's flight even landed, he messaged her, "I have a little surprise for you." That's a completed act of sex trafficking before her plane even touched down. She didn't want it. She was coerced. She messaged him again. "In NYC, I knew you would pair me up with a random person." That's not love. That's manipulation. That's trafficking. She was so disgusted at the sobriety party that she vomited. That's because she hadn't taken the drugs to numb it. Earlier on, Diddy tricked her by inviting an escort. So under the pressure, she called Cabral to come to New York. In her text message, she wrote to Diddy, "In New York, I knew you would pair me up with a random person." She texted him, "I'm not a porn star. I'm not an animal. I need a break." His response, "Let's spend the day together. No strangers." She replied, "You'll love bomb me." She knew the cycle: affection, control, and then the same pattern again. When the affection didn't work, Diddy used pressure. The house. Are you gonna let me come into our house? He texted her 8 times. Then he claimed he was sick, that he needed her. So she gave in. She went and ended up having sex with 3 men. This time, there were no drugs, no haze, just compliance after coercion. Even after she threw up, he said, "Get back out there." In 2024, it happened again, but this time in Jane's own house. 3 months after Homeland Security searched his homes, he used her home. They were supposed to have normal, fun date night. They drank. They argued. Jane pushed his head in the counter. He screamed at her. She told him to leave. She ran, slamming the door behind her. He kicked down 3 doors. You've seen the damage. Here's one on the screen right now. She ran without shoes. She hid, but he waited. Jane stuck the defendant, Diddy. She struck him, and In response, he punched her in the face. You've seen the photos. He dragged her by the hair, forcing her back into the house. James grabbed his phone and called the other woman, shouting in desperation. Diddy, in turn, called Jonathan Perez. Then it escalated. Diddy followed her in the shower, hit her again, knocked her down. Afterwards, he contacted Anton, the other escort, and told him to come over to have sex. Jane, bruised and shaken, put on makeup to cover up the injuries and drove to pick up Anton from the gate. Diddy handed her a pill and said, "Take this fucking pill." He got in her face just inches away and asked her, "Is this coercion?" He was mocking the very law he was violating. He knew what he was doing, and he did it anyways. Jane said no. She didn't want to have sex with the escort, but he ignored her. He wouldn't accept no. So Jane complied. She performed oral sex on Anton until he busted in her face. The defendant, Diddy, told security to bring the payment for Anton, but they didn't have the cash. The next day, he handed Jane Doe the money and made her send it. She Ubered the bag of cash to Anton herself. That's not consent, that's coercion. In December of 2023, Jane reached out, desperate for help. She texted Christina Coram, the defendant Diddy's former chief of staff. Her message was raw and painful and terrifying. He just threatened me about my sex tapes. He said he would expose me and send them to my child's father. She told Christina Coram that those tapes showed her heavily drugged and performing sex acts at Diddy's request. She was trying to heal, trying to find peace, but Diddy wouldn't leave her alone. All I asked was for my peace. I'm beyond hurt by him. And how did Christina Coram respond? With familiarity. She wasn't shocked or confused. She simply said, "I always tell him all the time, just give things space. Otherwise, we end up in a situation like we're in now." Jane Doe didn't want to involve her, but she was afraid. She said, "Please talk some sense into him because this isn't fair to me at all. I'm traumatized. I just privately healing and it keeps bothering me." She made it clear those were tapes of her heavily drugged, doing things she was told to do over the span of 3 years. That's not consent, that's exploitation. And now he was using those same tapes to control her. That's not about a breakup, ladies and gentlemen. It's about threats, blackmail, and psychological torment. And it wasn't just in December. Back in September of 2023, before a trip, she texted Diddy directly. "It's dark, sleazy, and makes me feel disgusted with myself." Jane said, "I don't want to feel obligated to perform these nights with you in fear of losing the roof over my head." She told him she didn't want to play that role anymore. No more trips, no more coercion. She wanted freedom. But to Diddy, her no never mattered. Lord have mercy, man. Lord have mercy. And it goes on. And y'all smash the like button, share the video, like the video. Oh, I'm cooking. All time bros barbecue. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. She says, before we had walked through 3 specific incidents of sex trafficking involving Jane Doe. But let's be clear, those nights didn't happen in isolation. They were part of a progression from fraud to coercion to eventually force. This wasn't spontaneous. It was a buildup rooted in power, drugs, and fear. You saw it, the rent conversations, the manipulation around housing. You heard how Jane Doe had little to no experience with drugs before she met Sean Diddy Combs. Once she was under his influence, physically, emotionally, chemically, it became easier to control her. If she was high on a drug that made her feel sexually aroused, I told you earlier, she would not refuse. And that is what the video shows. Jane was super, super high. This is important because Diddy's legal team will argue that she consented. But this wasn't a grown woman making a free, empowered choice. The relationship was clouded by threats of exposing sex tapes, control over her rent, and emotional violence. Those weren't adult decisions, they were survival responses. Now let's go further back to Cassie Ventura again. She first met with Diddy when she was 19 years old. When she was 22 years old, barely out of girlhood, he introduced her to what he called freak offs with male escorts. For a decade, he threatened Cassie. He beat Cassie. He got Cassie hooked on drugs and forced her into sex with hired men. Just like Jane Doe, it became a job. It became her shame. And then there's what Clark told y'all, a moment that says everything about how he viewed Cassie Ventura. Moldable, obedient, and owned. She came over. He told her, sit down, stand up, turn around, walk, grab that, hand me that, walk back, turn around. Now go to the other room. And she did it, all of it, because just like Jane Doe, she didn't feel like she had a choice. Before I take you through the darkest parts of what Cassie Ventura endured, let's be clear on how it began. He didn't just date her, he dominated her. He made her dependent on him emotionally, financially, professionally. He kept her occupied with busy work, recording songs no one would ever hear, keeping her chasing approval, chasing a dream he held in his hand like a leash. And the violence, it wasn't hidden. It wasn't a secret. It was open. It was out loud. It was brutal, and it was seen. Security guards, his own men, members of his enterprise, stood by and enabled it and even helped clean it up. You heard what happened that day in Beverly Hills when he threw her down. Her head cracked against the bed frame. It split open. And who took her to the plastic surgeon? D-Rock, one of Diddy's bodyguards. Not the police, no hospital, just the cover-up. This wasn't a one-time loss of control. This was a pattern. Do you remember what Cassie told you? Make the wrong face, and the next thing I knew, I was getting hit in the face. Smash the like button as y'all come on in here and share the video. We should have easily over 3,000 likes. Tell me I ain't cooking. It's Bruh's barbecue in this bitch. That's not a relationship. That's terror. That's control. That's abuse. That's members of the jury. It's racketeering. Now let's talk about the violence that Sean Diddy Combs inflicted, not just on Cassie Ventura, but on those around her. You heard about Bonham Bungolan, who said that Diddy held her over a balcony. Diddy's defense team tried to use timestamps and photos to say he wasn't there. But let's be honest, Bonham might have gotten the day wrong, but you know that attack happened. You saw the contemporaneous messages. You felt the fear. That kind of detail doesn't come from nowhere. And what happened after Cassie was beaten? One of his own, D-Rock, texted Diddy that she wasn't or she was icing her eye. And Diddy didn't ask, is she okay? He asked, why did she not have herself hiding? That's not concern. That's a cover-up. That's coordination. That's how his enterprise worked. D-Rock wasn't just security. He was surveillance. He was in control. He was responsible for making sure Cassie didn't show the world the damage. Now, you will hear about how Cassie went back, that she had good moments with Diddy, even after the worst ones. Why? You heard it from the experts. It's called trauma bonding. He hurt her, then he held her. Diddy broke Cassie down, then made her believe he was the only one that could build her back up. That's how trauma bond works. That's why she stayed in those freak offs. 9 years of degradation, of pressure, of pain. She even texted once, "I love our freak offs." Then quickly added, "When we both want it." That second part matters. When we both want it. Because most of the time, it wasn't when she wanted it. It is when he demanded it. These encounters weren't romantic. They weren't mutual. They were long hours. She was forced to participate while sick. She was forced to participate while she was bleeding. Or she was forced to participate when she was in pain. She was peed on. This was not intimacy. This was humiliation. It was weaponized. And those videos that the jury saw, that wasn't love. That wasn't freedom. That was a performance. Just like Jane Doe. Don't be fooled into thinking it was anything else. Now let's walk through what happened in the Intercontinental Hotel, Los Angeles in 2016. You've seen the footage before, but today I want you to see it differently with all the context, with clarity. Cassie had just walked out of a freak off. She wanted out, but what did Diddy do? He goes after her in the hallway, in public, on camera. He assaults her. Why? Diddy's legal team says it was about a cell phone, a simple fight, a misunderstanding. But you know better now. He wanted her to come back to the freak off, back to submission, back to control. This wasn't a lover spat. This was sex trafficking in plain sight, on surveillance, in a luxury hotel hallway. This was power trying to force itself back into dominance. He didn't want her to walk away. He wanted her to obey. Diddy controlled every detail of Cassie Ventura's life, right down to her hair and her nails at red carpet events. At the 2014 Vanity Fair party, she was told exactly how to style her hair. He blocked her career. She was denied a spot in a Common video. He paid for her car. He paid for her clothes. He paid for her phone. He paid for her vacations, making her utterly dependent. He extended the control to her family. When he learned that she was seeing Kid Cudi, he demanded $20,000 from Cassie's parents, or he'd release those sex tapes. Despite bringing in and dispersing $3.2 million that month, it was never about money. It was about dominance. Dr. Hughes explained it well. When an abuser destabilizes the victim, they seize control. He punched, he kicked, he dragged Cassie. After the worst episodes, he hid her in hotel rooms to cover her out of sight. Photos, videos confirm this. And D-Rock, Ruben, Uncle Paulie, all of them knew. He assaulted her at a Prince party until the security stepped in. Her friends, Mia and Myra Morales, described similar abuses. He threatened her with sex tapes at a house and attacked her again in Jamaica. In Las Vegas, she was curled up under a toilet when he beat her so badly that even D-Rock was brought to tears. And of course, there was the Intercontinental Hotel hallway attack, caught on tape. For Cassie, the abuse became routine. It happened to Mia. It happened to Devontae Nash. It even happened to Bana Bongolan. He controlled her on social media. When she was in South Africa, Christina Coram and D-Rock kept tabs on her. D-Rock even reported her state back to Diddy saying, "Is she icing? Tell her to chill." He all-worded her on a Malibu living room floor. She said no. She cried. He wrote afterwards, "I could tell I didn't turn you on yesterday." That is R-word. But Trauma Bond pulled her back. Hour-long performances, masturbation, filmmaker fantasies. Sometimes he even had escorts pee on her. Or on himself. Why? To satisfy his sexual fantasies. She became drug addicted. She texts, "I love our freak offs," when we both want it. Jurors, this isn't all or nothing. There were countless days she knew she didn't want it. That is sex trafficking. She obviously didn't want an escort to pee in her mouth while lying on the floor. Now look at these videos. No weapons, just her performing while he moved the camera, sometimes focused on the escorts, not Cassie at all. This was a fantasy for him, not for her. At the Intercontinental Hotel on March the 5th, 2016, her premiere night, she agreed to a freak off. This was more or less damage control. You heard her say, "I don't want you thinking I don't want to." She knew he would not accept no. So he brought in a sex worker, Jules. And when Cassie tried to escape, her shoes left behind, he grabbed her and assaulted her. He dragged her by the hair back into the room where Jules waited. He took her bags, but she refused to follow him. Instead, she used the phone in the lobby elevator. Diddy, even in a towel, chose to stay. He grabbed her phone, stayed with the bags in the hand, waiting for Flores and possibly Jules inside. He offered Mr. Flores money to leave. Then he returned to drag Cassie back. She just wanted her bag and her phone. He was keeping her there and forcing participation. That's not a separate attack. It's a part of the same coercion to get Cassie back into the freak off. Later, Cassie texts him, "I'm not a rag doll. I'm someone's child." She had freak offs in New York with Daniel Phillips. Smash the like button as y'all come on in here. I'm cooking today because Daniel was not paid. Defense will say that proves no trafficking, but trafficking does not require payment to the victim, only control over them. Daniel heard Diddy yell, "Bitch, when I tell you to come here, You come here. After that, Daniel couldn't perform. But remember, sex trafficking does not require a completed act. At the Cannes, at the film festival, Diddy accused her of stealing drugs. He threw her off a boat without her passport. Mia heard it. They flew back to New York, and he showed her freak-off videos on board. He threatened to release those sex tapes. In New York, they had another freak-off. He threw her off a boat to scare her. Cassie said, I didn't know what no would mean. He could be violent. Diddy's legal team says Cassie chose to stay, but put yourself in that place. This was force. This was leverage. There were drugs, disassociatives, and numbing agents to dull her pain, y'all. Yes, some of the messages sound consensual. That doesn't mean that she wanted it. Remember, when Diddy demanded, you're supposed to be seducing me all day, end quote. That was his fantasy, not Cassie's. She told him she didn't want to do freak-offs, even on her 29th birthday. Deontay Nash, the stylist, told you she left her own birthday party because of the freak-off. If he wanted it, it was going to happen. She had no real freedom. She didn't have the freedom to make voluntary adult choices. Let's go back to count number one, those freak-offs. Diddy did not act alone. Christina Coram, D-Rock, and Fahim. And they enabled it. Christina Coram arranged for Clayton Howard to enter her room. Jonathan Perez viewed the videos and showed Christina Coram. Fahim supplied the drugs during sessions on February the 18th, 2024. After Jane Doe complained to Christina Coram still sent supplies for Wild King nights, otherwise called freak-offs. D-Rock, Ice Cassie's black eyes. He knew exactly what was happening. The idea they didn't know, that is absurd. David James, Deontay Nash, Jonathan Perez, they all saw strangers in Diddy's homes. They saw Jane Doe with escorts while Diddy watched. That's interstate travel for prostitution. Diddy booked the travel and paid for it. Count three covers freak-offs with Cassie. Escorts flew to New York. Escorts flew to Miami. Escorts flew to Los Angeles. Escorts even flew to Ibiza, arranged by travel agents. Jules Theodore was with Diddy at the London hotel. He brought her an Amex ticket, paid a $2,000 bill. Message, I will tip you. For what? Sex. And that was just one incident. There was another incident with Jules beginning at 7 a.m. at Turks and Caicos. Diddy asked, how should I pay Paul? He paid for Paul's travel. For what? For sex. These aren't one-off events, ladies and gentlemen. These are acts of racketeering, travel, payment, coercion, organization. The law doesn't require that everyone fully consents. The fact remains, he orchestrated this. Sean Diddy Combs is guilty. Now let's talk about Reggie. He flew in from Las Vegas to Los Angeles for one reason, and that is sex. Jane Doe sent him $1,100 via Cash App. Here's the hotel folio, $4,000 in damage. Body fluids all over the floor. It could not be clearer. than what you see, ladies and gentlemen. Every time Christina Coram arranged travel for these freak-off Wild King nights, she helped facilitate a crime. Maybe she didn't like it, but she did it. She set it up. Wild King night travels to Vegas. You heard it straight from Diddy. The wildest Wild King night in Vegas, end quote. That's his own words. Christina Coram knew exactly what was going on. She wasn't just booking the rooms, she was inducing the travel for prostitution. That is a crime. That is racketeering. Here's an audio message that Diddy sent to Christina Coram asking to hunt for the sexiest, most unapologetic Wild King sex room in Las Vegas. This wasn't just a phrase, Wild King nights. It meant sex with escorts. She helped book Cabral's travel. She got the cash. She made the plans. She knew the game. And each time she did it, it became another racketeering act. You only need to find two. But in just this portion alone, there are dozens. We presented 4 women: Cassie Ventura, Jane Doe, Mia, and Capricorn Clark, who were all victims of forced labor. For Cassie and Jane, it was relentless sexual service. Cassie called them grueling, sometimes lasting up to 4 days straight. Jane Doe described it the same way. It often took them weeks to recover. That is not consent. That is forced labor. Christina Coram kept arranging the hotel rooms and travel to make these freak-offs happen. Now let's talk about Mia. She started working for Diddy and eventually ended up at Revolt. At one point, she went 5 days without sleep. She described multiple sex assaults of Diddy putting his hands up her dress, forcing his way into her bedroom, and penetrating her. In one incident, Diddy cornered her in a closet and forced her to slob on his knob. Another time, she blacked out in the bathroom of a private jet and still can't recall exactly what happened. These were not isolated experiences. They were patterns of trauma. Even though under tough cross-examination, Mia remained clear and consistent. She wasn't just doing a job. She was forced to perform labor and sexual services under the threat and violence. He threw her against a wall. He slammed the door on her arm. She witnessed violence at Prince's party and in Turks and Caicos. And remember, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, forced labor is just one of the 8 racketeering acts that we have outlined. You've heard evidence of drug distribution, racketeering, kidnapping, racketeering, arson, racketeering, bribery, racketeering, and sex trafficking, racketeering. You've also heard the interstate transportation for prostitution, racketeering, forced labor, racketeering, and witness tampering, racketeering. We don't even need all 8. We don't need most of them to find racketeering conspiracy, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. All you have to do is find 2 acts, 2 from this entire pattern. 2 acts committed through this organized web of control, silence, and fear. That's all. And you've heard more than enough. Let's talk about power and control. When they were in South Africa, Christina Coram told Mia, he told her, if you don't call him in 10 minutes, you don't have a job. You don't have a job if you don't call him in 10 minutes. You don't have a job. That was the reality. Diddy held all of the cards. Mia could not say no, even to the smallest request. Why? Because her job wasn't just to work for Diddy. It was to protect Diddy. Human resources, that wasn't a safe place. Human resources worked for Sean Diddy Combs, not for Mia. She knew that. And what about the police? What would they do when they're up against someone with his influence, his power? The threats she faced left her with no real options. Now, I expect you'll hear from Diddy's legal team that she could have left. She told him she loved him. And yes, Mia was honest. She told you there were highs, but there were also devastating lows. Take Capricorn Clark. All she did was raise an overtime issue. She brought it to human resources. Vashta Wilson, the head of human resources. But again, human resources was just a puppet for Sean Combs. And what happened? Capricorn Clark was threatened, not just by Diddy, but by Uncle Paulie in the middle of Central Park. Then came the lie detector's test. Them being taken to confront Kid Cudi. Ladies and gentlemen, this was not just a toxic workplace. This was an enterprise of fear, control, and silencing. And it was all orchestrated by one man. Capricorn Clark had a child, a son to take care of. And what did Diddy do? He threatened to blacklist this woman. That's how he wielded power. It's through intimidation, ladies and gentlemen. He wielded power through manipulation, ladies and gentlemen. He wielded power through control, ladies and gentlemen. We should have over 4,000 likes. Smash the like button. I'm cooking in rare form. Now let's talk about witness tampering and obstruction of justice, especially after Cassie filed her lawsuit. This is where everything ties together. Jane Doe was a problem. She knew too much. She had lived it. After Cassie's lawsuit hit the headlines, Diddy moved fast to contain the fallout. He called Jane Doe. These calls, they were recorded by Christina Coram's cell phone. You'll hear them. It's November the 19th, 2023. Cassie's case has already been settled, but he was panicking and terrified of a criminal investigation. So what did he say? What can I do to make you feel better is what he said. Diddy knew not to say too much. I can't be speaking on the phone, he said. And then he starts rewriting history right there while recording. He tells Jane Doe, and I quote, "We just did some kinky shit, baby. I thought we both enjoyed it." He's trying to gaslight her to rewrite her trauma as a fantasy. She already told him, "You gaslit me." And in the background, you'll hear the scratching of a Sharpie. He's taking notes, planning, plotting, trying to shape Jane Doe's words. You've seen the lawyers passing the notes in the courtroom. Now ask yourself, how long has this game of deception been going on? After that, Diddy had D-Rock reach out to Mia, asking her to say something that was not true. You remember how Mia responded? She witnessed him slam Cassie's head into a surface. D-Rock had seen it too. Yet here he was asking Mia to go along with a lie. And as the federal investigation intensified, the pressure on Mia did not stop. D-Rock called her 5 times in a row. That was not a coincidence. That was a strategy. Look at the chart. Mrs. Seneca showed you. It connects all the dots. The way Diddy treated Mia, that wasn't just manipulation. It was witness tampering. It was obstruction of justice. Let's not forget the Intercontinental assault video, the one that everyone saw. Diddy tried to bury that too. That's bribery. That is obstruction of justice. For years, Diddy had gone to great lengths to hide his crimes. But when the truth started spilling out, he didn't turn inward in reflection. He turned to his inner circle, desperate to silence the people who could bring him down. Listen to the call. In 2023, Diddy told a tearful Jane Doe, "I just needed to tell you that I needed your friendship." It wasn't a show of concern. It was manipulation. She had just read Cassie's lawsuit. She had the mirror of her own trauma, and he knew it. Diddy was not apologizing. He was gaslighting. Diddy knew that Jane Doe had just read Cassie's lawsuit and saw the haunting similarities. His message was not about healing. It was about control. It was about rewriting the past, not making amends. After Cassie's lawsuit was filed and he quickly settled, Mia then received a call from D-Rock. He downplayed the abuse, saying they fought like any couple, but he sounded nervous. She didn't return Diddy's calls. Later, D-Rock offered to send her something, but she refused. Diddy is guilty. For years, he got away with it. Not because it was not happening, but because of who he was, his wealth, his fame, his influence. They all shielded him. But that shield, ladies and gentlemen, cannot last forever. Not in this courtroom. Not anymore. It is time to hold him accountable. It is time to find him guilty. And it is time for justice. Crime after crime, year after year, Sean Diddy Combs kept going because he had the power to bury the truth, ladies and gentlemen. But that ends now. We rest our case. Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody that hit the Cash App, salute to all of y'all. Peachy Brown, salute to you in the Cash App with the donation. If y'all want to donate, the link's pinned at the top of the chat. She said, keep cooking on them ticket. Best love. Salute to you. Antonio Brown, salute to you with the donation in the Cash App. Monique, salute to you with the donation in the Cash App. I appreciate it. She says, remember Cassie's Med records were also sent to Diddy. Salute to you. Marvin Brown, salute to you in the Cash App. He says, the Truth News 100. Thanks. Appreciate you, brother. And everybody else is supporting this show. Y'all smash the like button, man. And they lied to y'all. This is the whole pattern of all of these people and things that are surrounding Sean Diddy Combs. All lies. All people of lies. All representatives of lies. This is what they've done. They flooded YouTube streets with liars, lies, people covering up crimes to try to help save this man. I'm going to tell you, money can buy a lot of things in this world, ladies and gentlemen. But you know one thing money cannot buy? Money cannot buy dignity. Money cannot buy honor. Money cannot buy respect. Money cannot buy truth. And the truth is, ladies and gentlemen, with all of those people that you guys see at the courthouse today, is jam-packed, that have come to support Diddy from his family. They love Diddy so much that not one of them risked getting their ass on that stand under oath, under penalty of perjury and prosecution for lying, to defend the great Sean Diddy Combs. Because money can buy a lot of things, but the one thing money cannot buy is the truth. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the truth will always set you free, and it will always keep you free. So when these people, you see these demons rehashing this demonic type of behavior, it is a reflection of the society and the world that we live in, full of demonic people who would dare love to push the thoughts of men busting on chicks and rubbing the bust all over other busts, all over Diddy, and licking it and playing in it. This is the type of demonic, devilish, foolish behavior that is going on in our society, and not just with Sean Diddy Combs. It's a lot of people that's participating in this type of foolishness. That's why they condone it. It's a lot of people out here beating on women. It's a lot of women beating on men. It's a lot of violence going on around here. And they condone it and look at it like it's nothing because they normalize it. Illegal drug usage. How many people that you hear talking about this all the time as if it was legal when it is illegal? They've made it seem like it's so legal that people would dare come on YouTube and other platforms and tell you that these aren't crimes. They desensitized themselves to the truth. But again, the truth will set every last person in this comment section free. In this world, you owe nothing to man because man did not create you. So when Sean Diddy Combs can flex his checks in his pockets and try to buy people, which is what the government has accused him of on multiple occasions, of buying and attempting to buy people. All money ain't good money. And everybody needs to remember that. It has to be some type of honor. It has to be some type of dignity. It has to be some type of ethics. It can't be just because Diddy's black, I'm a rep a black man. No, that shit is played out. That shit is played out. You have to start putting these demons down and keeping them down. You can't have Negroes like Bookman running around here who've never done anything in his dirty life, a damn thing, but hang on to celebrities because he wants to be famous, because he wants to feel important. That's what these guys do. So they attach themselves to celebrities because they can't be shit on their own. So you make all these videos, the truth behind this, the truth behind that, when you don't know the truth behind a damn thing because everything you say is a lie. These are all facts. You try to attach yourself to any celebrity to make yourself feel better for your low self-esteem, when a real man and a real woman can walk on the merits of their own honor, their own dignity, their own morals. They don't need no other man to solidify and justify who they are as a person. These are all facts that I'm handing y'all today. And to live in fear. Nobody should ever have to live in fear. Because only one giveth and only one taketh away. Only one gives and only one takes away. And it ain't Sean Diddy Combs. Point blank, period. So he can run and he can use his money to do everything he wants to do. Hire as many lawyers as he wants. He can hire 5, 10, 15 lawyers if he desires. But guess what? All that money ain't enough to cover up who the truth and what the truth is. Because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, you saw it on full display here. When it was time to pay the piper, and it was time for all of these people to stand up for somebody that only people were around and only people cared about because he had money. When it was time to really show who his friends were And who would speak up for him in his lowest moments? Nobody, and I mean nobody, stood up and spoke up for this man under oath, risking penalty of perjury in the court of federal law. So all those people are fake as fuck, because none of them would risk taking their ass and getting up on that stand and testifying for this man, because it's two sides to a hand, ladies and gentlemen. It's one side where the defense is going to ask you everything you want to hear, but then you have to answer to the other side where the prosecution may know intimate details that the general public does not know. And when they question you, the defense has no control over the questions of the prosecution. So this is another reason why nobody, celebrity, nor family member, nor employee, risk getting on the stand for Sean Diddy Combs and saying he was a good man. That lets you know everybody around him was filthy, dirty, dishonorable, and disloyal. Sean Diddy Combs owes YouTubers more than people that he's been around his life forever and a day with for holding him down on YouTube. People who've never been around Sean Diddy Combs for an extended period of time have held Sean Diddy Combs down on the internet, lying and capping for this nigga, than his own close people that have been with him on a day-to-day basis. And at the end of the day, when Diddy sits in that cell by himself and he breaks down into tears crying because he realized that it's over, he will understand that all of this time, more money, more problems. Because the more money Sean Diddy Combs got, the more people came around him that were frauds, fake, phonies, and only came to the party for the photos. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you really cook. I'm on a different level with this. Nothing written down right here. All off the top of the dome. Just super intelligence, ether level type of delivery. And I would never ever let a walking shit stain ever be able to talk to me any kind of way on the internet or in real life, nigga. Your channel was failing. You tried to leech on to Kwame Brown. You was jealous that I was rocking with Kwame when he first came on YouTube. You tried to leech on to him to keep your little whack-ass channel going because your shit was played out. Talking about hood stories. You ain't from the hood, nigga. Shit is garbage, nigga. And you dare want to open your mouth talking about me? You rolled Kwame Brown's channel to the ground, nigga, and you sad for that. And Kwame, I love you, brother, because you came on here telling the truth. And this punk ain't nothing but a part of the go along, get along game. Straight bum. Walking shit stain. A part of the go along, get along game. Nigga, don't play with me, nigga. Different levels around here, nigga. Straight like that. Nigga got 2 left feet. Oh, come on here and try and throw some shots at me. Nigga, bruh, stop playing, man. Before I really turn up the heat and really get the cooking. Now back to him. It's a wrap, man. It's over with, y'all. He's facing, and I'm going to say it again, he's facing a minimum of 15 years to life Now, through the special sentencing, he's facing a minimum of 15 years to life on the sex trafficking charges. If he's found guilty of one sex trafficking charge, one out of the two sex trafficking charges, just one, the judge can give him life. It is over with. The games, the lies, the gimmicks, it's over with, man. It's over with, bro. So now he's facing a maximum life sentence on the RICO, maximum life sentence on the sex trafficking, and maximum 10-year sentence on each of the prostitution, solicitation, transportation charges. The judge can stack them on top of each other, or the judge can run them concurrent. What do I mean? Let me explain. If the judge comes out after Diddy is found guilty, if Diddy is found guilty of one count of sex trafficking, the judge can give Diddy 30 years in prison for one count of sex trafficking. And let's say Diddy is found guilty of racketeering, and the judge gives Diddy 30 years for that. And let's say Diddy is found guilty of the other count of sex trafficking, and the judge gives him 30 years for that. And let's say Diddy is found guilty on both of the transportation of prostitution charges, and the judge gives him 5 years on each charge. Well, you'll have 30, 30, 30, 5, and 5. Now, the judge has two options. He can stack those years on top of each other and make Diddy serve that time consecutively, or he can do it concurrently, which means that Diddy would serve 30 years in prison. It's all on the behest of the judge. But if the judge wants to stack them, he can stack those years. So that would mean Diddy would get 30 years for the RICO, 60 years for the two sex trafficking. That's 90 years right there. Plus 10 years combined for the two transportation. That's 100 years. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, when it comes to talking this shit, I read the paperwork. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at the paperwork, sucker. Get mad because I actually had enough brains to go to class. I'm the best there is. I'm the best there ever was. And I'm the best there ever will be at this shit. Like, share, subscribe. And salute to everybody that supported this channel. All the donations. Shout out to Claudia DeLucio in the Cash App. Says, good job, Diddy has to pay now for what he's done. Shout out to Tijuana in the Cash App. Says, sub name to announce. Salute to you. At Lovejoy. Salute. I appreciate it. Impressed Melanated. Salute to you. In the Cash App. She said, all money ain't good money. You ain't never lying. You ain't never lying. That was never lying. So y'all see it. Salute to everybody that paid attention, that tapped in. And as far as the pardon goes, that's not going to happen. Why? Because of a man by the name Tony Busby. Tony Busby goes way back with the current president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. And Tony Busby was one of Trump's biggest donors, donating one time $250,000 and another time $500,000 to Donald Trump's first campaign for the presidency of the United States of America. And Tony Busby posted this updated photo with him and Donald Trump right after he got reelected. Tony Busby is leading the charge on the Sean Diddy Combs lawsuits. And I'm pretty sure he's been in Trump's ear to keep the squeeze on Diddy. And Diddy made a huge mistake with those comments he made about Donald Trump. So when you combine that and you combine the fact that the G Unit soldier, known as 50 Cent, said that he's also going to interfere to make sure Trump don't let that punk off the hook. As 50 Cent has ties with Trump as well, it looks bad for Sean Diddy Combs, man. You guys let me know what y'all think. Like, share, subscribe. Again, I only respect honorable people. That's it, man. If you treat people right, you an honorable person, I ain't had no issue with you. Diddy's not an honorable man. Diddy beats on women, assaults people, disrespects the people that work for him, disrespects black folk, have been accused by numerous of his black artists for doing him dirty, but niggas want to get behind him and say, man, they tearing down a black man. Fuck, what about all the black people that complain about this? Won't give a fuck about them? Like I said before, like, share, subscribe, man. Bruh's barbecue, nigga. Tastes so good, make you want to hug your mama, nigga. I'm gone.
All right, you guys, so we appreciate everybody that popped in, supported this video. Make sure that you guys shop our merch. We got that new A-Weapons merchandise right there below this video. All you got to do is look below. The links will be pinned at the top of the comment section as well to get the merch, to donate, support the channel, and subscribe to our podcast show. You'll see all those links pinned at the top of the comment section of this video. And we appreciate everybody that supports this channel and our networks. Also, that straight drop weight loss formula. Go to the website. You guys will see that. A link for that will be pinned at the top of the comment section as well. Go right there for all of your weight loss needs. Straight drop weight loss formula. We have a lot of testimonials on the website. You can go to www.str-8-drop.com and get you some of the weight loss formula today. Take your weight loss serious. Get in the gym, work out, exercise, and do what you got to do to stay on point. We appreciate everybody that's been locked into this video. Again, all the links are pinned at the top of the comment section below. Salute to all of y'all. And again, we appreciate everybody who support what we doing over here.